It's just too good to be true.
Can't take my eyes off of you.
We'll have to work on that.
We'll work on
Well,
it.
I'll have to work on that.
We'll
Technically.
have to work. I'll work on it too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, this is a special I Won episode of Unbothered by Ty
I'm
Rivera.
glad you waited 22 milliseconds to congratulate yourself.
Eat a dick, America. Eat a dick.
Oh my
Or I should say Facebook, not America. America's great. And Donald Trump is going to make it great again.
Oh my God. I can't believe this.
But yeah, eat a dick, Facebook, SJWs, bloggers, various people that tried to slow my Trump train. Don't you start. This is my moment. For anybody that doesn't know, we got Carmen Morales back again.
Hi, guys.
I think that was a good beginning
this
for
is
us.
obviously the most dangerous episode, so naturally I would have to be the one to come on.
Yeah, this one, though, we're definitely going to post no matter how it goes. So watch yourself. Keep that in mind. You signed the waivers.
Yeah, this is very controversial for me to be on the show at this moment.
Yeah. But the good thing is you weren't a Trump supporter, so it's not like you
I'm
even have
not.
to navigate around that. Okay, we kind of won't. Because I have a few friends like that.
That was the thing that was so shitty is if people really supported him, then why they didn't want to get the bullshit for it, and so they sneakily voted for him. And I think those people are fucking pussies.
Yeah, well, people are trying to make other people lose their jobs over choosing Trump. They were saying that you were racist. That's the only way that you could support Trump. And that's something people were doing. It was a shitty, okay, now I'm really going to troll you type of thing.
Well, he was making if a guy says a bunch of shit, if you put all of the stuff together, you know what I'm saying?
But here's my thing with that. The value that you place on certain words or certain statements doesn't have to be the same that I do. So when people say that, it's because here's the way it worked as a Trump supporter. And I've tried to explain this before, but I don't think people always get it. The way it works is, yes, he would say inflammatory shit. That was to perk your ears, and it was some of it somewhat true that something needs to be done about that. Is the way he presented it extreme? Yes. But it's not about the way they say it or who says it. It's that I need it to be said sometimes. And I think that's the way a lot of America felt. Okay, maybe I don't feel it to that extreme on that particular issue, but it is important that he brings it up. And I'm glad he's bringing it up because something has to be done. And then if you would listen to, because he did an interview for MSNBC, which a lot of people didn't listen to. They just heard the sound bite off the one thing. That's one thing that really made me not respect the left this time. It was that a lot of people, and I've talked to people about it on podcasts, asked them a bit more about certain things. And in a lot of cases, they didn't know facts because they didn't want to know anything other than just the narrative that was being set up. They didn't know what he said before or after anything. They didn't go back and look at the interview. They just heard the soundbite, and they were like, okay, well, either one of us could take this and edit it in a way where all you hear is the most inflammatory thing and make the other sound bad.
right.
But if you listen to the full statement, it's kind of yeah, well, that makes
But he
sense.
just said some really, come on, he said some really ridiculous shit.
Like what? I'm not even being condescending. I'll entertain it.
I don't. There's so many things, and the rape charge, that's.
But
That's
the
gonna
rape charge. Did you read that article? Any of the articles about the rape charge?
I didn't.
There you go. That's
What?
everybody. Nobody reads anything. That's why I say I lose respect for so many people because you can't just hear something, not do any
Well,
research.
that's why I'm asking about
but
it.
you can't. I just realized my window's open and I have the air on.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
Oh, is that gonna mess up what we're just doing?
No, but just running the air with the window open, Carmen.
Yeah, that's probably not a good move.
My mom would be mad at me for that. That's just wasting electricity because
Well,
it just keeps blowing.
we
And the
can
window's
fix it.
all the way open.
We could fix it.
I know I could fix it, but I'm going to have to walk away for a second, even
That's
though
fine.
I'm right here and you can still hear me. So yeah, so the rape charge. Here's the thing. If you didn't read that, you don't know anything about it, why would you choose to bring it up in like if you're saying like
Well,
just
because
ridiculous
maybe-
things he said and done?
Because maybe then I think you have information that I don't have. I mean, isn't that the whole point of having a conversation? You inquire about something.
No, but like
What
you
about
brought
this?
it, like I said, what was ridiculous, and then you said the rape charge as one of like the ridiculous things, but you don't officially know if that's a ridiculous thing. You don't know.
A rape charge is a ridiculous thing. I don't know if I didn't read up on the whole case. That's why I asked you about it.
Yeah, but Bill Clinton has also been accused of rape, and the thing is, people can accuse anybody of anything. So, like, just the accusation or without doing any research to me doesn't make sense. And that's what people did all through it. Like, they did that with, and I'm glad you brought it up, just because that's, like, a good example of what's been happening. Like, if you listen to certain episodes of my podcast when I talk about certain facts that have come out about different cases with Black Lives Matter. Like, I mentioned it with Mike Brown, how it turned out that after the independent investigation, the story didn't go down the way that he said it went, or he's dead. It's not funny that he's dead. It's funny that I said he. But you find out that the people that said that they saw him, like, hands up and stuff like that couldn't have been true. So, but people don't know that because they don't do the research. But they'll bring it up. They'll be like, well, there's that thing with Mike Brown, and it's like, okay. And then, like, if you look into Sandra Bland a little bit more, which I've done with people, like, I will mention that. And then they'll be like, one person told me specifically they try not to read too much stuff about it. And it's like, well, if this is your cause, then why wouldn't you read some stuff about it? That's what I had to do as a Trump supporter because people wouldn't let me off the hook. That's what it really was. Because I couldn't just say that I supported Trump without getting grilled about it and people, calling me names, which is literally what people were doing. Like, if you notice a lot of my Facebook interactions, mine specifically, a lot of times it was just me posting something where I'm in support, just like other people were posting about Bernie, just like other people were posting about Hillary. All I was doing was posting my support like those people were. But as soon as people would see mine, they jump on and immediately start calling me names. So, and questioning me, like, if they weren't being nice, they would question. And they, like, since I'm not going to be a fool, I had to have answers for them. So, I did the research that I had to do, and then I would, like, hit them with that. And, like, in some cases, I'd just be bitchy back with them, but hit them with information at the same time. And then they'd start calling me a bully. Well, you jumped on calling me an asshole before I said anything to you. Before I even knew you were reading my post. I don't know you're reading my post. I don't respond, and then unless you're reading it thinking I'm talking directly to you.
Make Facebook ESP, like you just know. And
Yeah, which I've told people before. I get accused of that. So, like, not accused of that, but like where people will react that way. And it's like, I've never met you. How could I have you in mind when I wrote that? How could I know that you were going to get so upset by that? And that's what I mean, like the value, the way that people like place value on certain statements and the way things are. It's like if I don't think about things the same way, because people post shit on Facebook all the time that I see that I do not agree with. And then I feel like that's full of shit. But if I do anything, it's going to be like a quick ribbing, a quick troll, something that's at least somewhat cute and fun and not aggressive and you're an asshole and you're dumb and this is why you're a retard and whatever else, the way that people talk, Yeah. Is it like for me, like, I know we're on a computer, so it's easy to forget, but like I like to think of it like I will actually, because I'm really good at trolling people when I have to.
What do you mean?
I'm really good, like when they're being assholes to me, I would go in on them, and I'm good at that, and I know, like, but like the way I usually think about it is, would I talk to this person this way in real life? And usually the answer is no until they talk to me a certain way. And it's like, yeah, this is exactly the way I would handle this.
Right.
But if you think about it on the flip side, the way people come in talking to me in my threads isn't the way a person would talk to another person. They just wouldn't.
Right.
You wouldn't just walk into a conversation, even if you didn't agree. There's very few people in this world that would legit just walk
That
into a
open with you-
conversation.
they just walk up to a circle of people and say, "You're an asshole."
Yeah, hey, you dumb asshole. Like, what? It's like, really? That's the way you would start a conversation? I don't think so. That's you just being your Facebook personality or whatever you want to be in real life. Maybe you want to be that guy in real life. But yeah, so like, so you had to do research on those things. And like with the rape thing, I read this one thing about the whole billionaire situation, like the other guy, and like 'cause somebody sent it to me, and I was reading it on my way back from what's it called, and it was so long and uninteresting and didn't sound like anything to me that I just was like, I'm bored with this. Like, I don't know. Which is the way I felt when I watched the lady on CNN too. I forget what her name was. Her last name, Miss something, is the way they addressed her. She had a first name, but she was an older lady, and she was the one that told the story about the that Trump had groped her on a plane in first class on a flight back. But like her story didn't sound good. Like she didn't
What do you
remember.
mean? Like it didn't have the arc it needed?
You're stupid. No, it didn't sound believable. Was the problem? Like that was because like that when I was on the stair climber, and so like I'll watch CNN on the monitors. So I lost a lot of respect for CNN because I was seeing a lot of stuff from their perspective. Because every day when I go to the gym, I put my earbuds in, and that's what I connect to is the face or the CNN. So yeah, when I and on that one it was like an evening, and for some reason I had to go to the gym late that day because of the way my day worked out, and so I watched the full like her account of the story, and it just didn't sound believable at all. It's like she said that he groped her for probably 15 minutes with her like wrestling, like you know what I mean, like her trying to get away from him, and like 15 minutes in first class, and there's another seat up and I know that in different cases, in different periods of time, people have been more accepting of men being more aggressive, like that. And she said it was, I think in the 80s, she said. And you used to see it in the movies all the time. Like if you remember, like there was a scene where Mr. Mom, remember, she goes on a business trip with her boss, and her boss is in the robe.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember Mr. Mom, that part, Terry Gart? Remember when she goes to work, or like she has to go to a work trip for Schooner Tuna? Because the wife on Mr. Mom, remember, she worked for Schooner Tuna. Terry Garr was the wife. Michael Keaton was the Mr. Mom, and Terry Garr was out there making shit happen, working for Schooner Tuna. That's how he was able to be Mr. Mom and just loaf all day.
Wow.
And she went on a business trip, and her creep boss pulled some shit like that. And back in those days, people just laughed at it like, oh, that's just part of the movie. Now, if you made a movie like that, they'd be like, can you believe her boss took her on had her on a business trip and tried to pull that misogynistic or chauvinistic shit?
Yeah.
But back in those days, that's how normal it was. It was even a movie. But I still don't see a 15-minute wrestling match happening in first class with the person across the way, because she said there was a man. But, that was part of why her story was unbelievable. Also, she didn't remember where she was coming from. Somebody groped you on a 15-minute. I'd always be like, that was Dallas. Or, you know what I mean? Or like, I was on my way home from San Francisco and that.
Yeah, but if you're getting like felt up, like if you're really that uncomfortable, you're not gonna like try. I don't. Isn't that what you would try to block it, right? Don't you try to block shitty things like that?
Well, no. I mean, like I would. Why would I try to block that?
As a coping mechanism, like that's why like a lot of people carry around repressed like trauma and stuff. And
Well, then those
figure it out
people need
through
to get
therapy.
healthier and figure shit out, because like
Well, it's not about getting healthier.
yes,
If
it
it's
is
something
getting mentally healthier. Like,
but I'm saying like that could affect like everything that she would have remembered from that experience.
why? I mean, like, why should the whole thing be like? To me, I don't like what I was saying is what I mean is, or what I'm trying to get at is, even in those times, you could have said that some man just assaulted me. So I don't know why she didn't choose to do that. That's one thing. And the other thing was, if you look at it during in those days, in like the 80s or whatever, Donald Trump was a good-looking billionaire. He wasn't like an unattractive man. So I can't really imagine him having to pull those moves on women that completely weren't interested. I couldn't imagine him having to.
Well, yeah, but you're biased because you think he's hot.
But he was a billionaire, and that's like, you know what the 80s was about, right? You know, it was all about money and power and like that.
Cocaine?
Fucking, yeah, that kind of, yeah. Like, really, it was that, like, you know, that was the 80s. That's so I'm sure there were plenty of women that would just let him grope them without him, like, but take that part away. There's still, like, why wouldn't you say anything about that in however many years? And then, like, you know, what the only people you told were, like, close friends and family, which, like, that doesn't make for good witnesses because they're your close friends and family. So if you're lying, they're not necessarily going to tell the truth.
But if like something weird like that happens, like a lot of times you don't want to say anything. Like I had a dude try to sexually assault me, and I didn't go to the police. I contacted the booker of the guy that I was working with, and I was like, this fucked up thing happened. And they were like, all right, we won't book you guys together. Like, but I mean, like,
well, why?
But I just told my close friends and family because I don't know. Like, I don't want to.
Well,
there's also like this. There's like a overwhelming like amount of guilt. Like I don't want to, you know. But that I'm also fucked up though. So it's like.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You need to.
But that's what. But I'm saying like that doesn't mean that I should.
This is where I would get accused of victim blaming. But honestly, I think that that's the kind of thing that you should let people know. Like not in a rumor way, but definitely you should have, or if you still can, gone to the police, because the thing is, then those people continue to do that to other people.
Right. But what I'm saying is fear is like a genuine thing that would like affects your decision making skills. To do that is what I'm saying.
Yeah, then how did your story become valid 30 years later?
I don't know.
Like, I would
I'm
just
not...
feel like there should be some kind of healthy resolution to it one way or another, whether it's with the person or not with the person.
Well, maybe it's because the stakes were finally raised high enough for her to feel like it is worth telling people.
Yeah.
Like if this guy is going to be,
you know what? I'll
president.
find it and we'll watch it and we'll talk about it on another episode, because it's on YouTube, I'm sure, the CNN interview.
Oh, yeah.
And then you can say if you think, because I just didn't feel, and I wasn't even being like, you know, just an asshole. It was like, because I always feel like, all right, let me hear. That's what was bothering me with like a lot of the Hillary people. A lot of the Hillary people didn't want to hear anything bad about her, or they would say that it wasn't true without looking into it.
Well, no, I mean, she's been a professional politician for like of course she's gonna have a fuck ton of like, you know what I mean? Like that's figuring it out as a politician. I'm certain you're gonna make really big fucking mistakes, you know? And so it's like you can't deny that they don't exist.
But that's the thing. A lot of people were, and that's why I couldn't like, with good conscience, vote for Hillary in any way, because it was just like, you know, you're asking me to swallow a lot of bullshit right now to have to make this decision. Because I'd rather know somebody's, let's say he's everything that he's supposed to be except a rapist, because I really don't think he's a rapist. I just don't. But everything else, misogynistic,
xenophobic,
race, race, everything. Okay, let's say he's all of those things. I'd rather honestly know you're that and have you tell me that than have you pretend that you don't know how shit works after you've been a politician for 30 years. Like, Hillary really lost me. The point where she lost me, because I've always said the point Bernie lost me was the Black Lives Matter girls taking the mic from him. That's what happened with Bernie. The moment where Hillary lost me when she said, like, with a washcloth, when they asked her about, like, if wiping her server.
What?
Yeah, she was like, you know, like with the washcloth, and she said it like she was trying to be halfway cute, and then like, you know, but also sort of like, you know, she wouldn't know how that works.
You switched sides because she made a shitty joke?
I switched sides because I need you to be serious right now.
Oh,
This is a serious charge. I need you to be serious. I need you to fucking address this. Not try to make a joke and try to pass it off as sort of like halfway I don't get it and halfway I'm being silly and like, bitch, don't play with me right now. I'm asking you about this, or the American people are asking you about this. Just, did you wipe the server or not? Did you? And I know that she's a politician, so she has to not answer it, but you can do better to not answer it than that. I mean, like, you can at least fucking run me circles. Like, Donald Trump would take the minute to run you circles. He'd definitely pay you that respect. He'd be like, you know, how are you going to do it? It's going to be great how we're going to do it. It's good. Trust me. We're going to do it, though. It's going to be, you know, it would be shit like that. But you'd be like, well, at least you took the time to fucking run me in some circles. With Hillary, it was just like not even a good joke. And also, like, there were different points where her people made it sound like, and even I think James Comey said it in his thing, because I saw more of that than I wanted to. Again, because I was at the gym, this time in the fucking East Coast or whatever, or not even East Coast, like middle of the country. But he made it seem like she wasn't the most technologically savvy. And, like, I do get the fact that maybe you're not the most technologically savvy. Like, you have a lot of stuff done for you. It's just, it's already ready.
She's still a grandma.
But you know, like, you're telling me nowhere did you ever hear the term wipe the server? You don't know, like, what that means, or it's kind of like
I don't know
foreign
what that
to you
means.
in some way.
I mean, I'm guessing it means you delete everything
But
on a server.
But a 30-year politician, the deals, like, you know, Secretary of State, no, what's it called, ever wiped a server before? No terrorist type people, no, like, so she's never heard that terminology or doesn't really know what that would entail.
They do mention it a lot in movies, so I feel like even if you just watched a lot of movies,
That's what I'm saying.
You would have heard.
Yeah, like, we all know about wiping
We
the
gotta
server.
wipe the server.
You might not know exactly how to do it or what it takes, but
Johnson, get in here. We gotta wipe the server.
So I felt like she was like, you know, I just felt like they were trying too many times to, like, bullshit. And it was like, you're asking me to swallow a lot of fucking bullshit. And when people were putting stuff like, you know, yesterday.
You think Bill wrote that joke? Do you think Bill wrote Bill Clinton? You think he wrote that washcloth joke?
You know what? I don't think Bill Clinton is nearly the fucking guy that everybody tries to make him out to be. He's just a lame old white man.
You don't think he punches up her speeches?
He's a lame old white man. I mean, like, he just is. I mean, like, I get it. And for a president, yeah, he was kind of, you know, and I saw
I mean, nobody seems cool now because of how cool Obama is. Ever.
Well,
So
I dispute that even. Even when
Who?
Obama, he's not that fucking cool. He's an old man.
He's pretty fucking cool, man.
Like, compared to who? Bernie Sanders?
Compared
yeah, you're
to
right.
Any
He's
president
fucking cool.
ever?
President? Yeah, okay. So that's like, that's still not cool.
How is that not cool? Like,
because it's not.
To run an entire country and have a sense of humor, that's pretty fucking cool.
No.
No, why?
Because there's nothing. To run a country, you should have a fucking sense of humor if you're going to run a country.
But usually presidents don't. That's my point. Why do you think he's not cool? Why do you think President Obama is not cool? This, I guess, I got to hear this.
See, like, I voted for Obama. I thought, like, he gives a great speech. But people go too far. Like, they're like, oh my God, he's so sexy. Really? If he drove a bus, do you think everybody would be talking about fucking him? Just look at him as what he is. Just look at him as not the president, just a man that looks like that. Are you going to get fucked by that? I don't think a lot of people would. I don't think a lot of women would be clamoring for that. But they make it seem, oh, he's so good looking. He's just so. No, you're drawn to the power. If that's what you're saying, because I guarantee you, there's a Obama impersonator I know. I'll ask him how much he's getting laid. I bet it's not the fucking pussy wagon you'd imagine.
Why not? Well, that I'm gonna have to disagree with you only because, because then they're still thinking about the power, so they'd still want to fuck the impersonator too. You don't think those Elvis impersonators get fucked?
There's got to be nothing worse than fucking impersonator to feel the power.
It's closer to the fantasy, right? It's just like role playing with power, right?
I get maybe.
But I mean, but the same thing could be said about celebrities too. I mean, anybody that's like.
I've said that forever. Yeah, like a lot,
presented.
like Halle Berry. There's some of them that I really feel like, you know,
are stunning, and then some of them are just because they're actors.
Well, Halle Berry, I think, is overrated. She's pretty. She's very pretty.
Oh, I think she's gorgeous.
But I've seen a lot prettier girls in regular life. Like, Halle Berry's very cute. But I've just seen a lot of really pretty girls.
I think she's so pretty.
I think it's more she's an actress. I think that's more what people are into. Like, she's somewhat unattainable just because of that. You know, you're not going to run into her anywhere, so she seems extra pretty. Gwyneth Paltrow, another one that I've always been
I always thought she looked plain. I mean,
Yeah.
I get it. She's got like pretty lines to her. Like, I get she's symmetrical, but I don't know.
But you hear them like, you know, Gwyneth Paltrow is one of the most beautiful women in the world, and it's like.
But and again, it's just like he's hot for a president, you know, just like how they say like she was hot for a female comedian. You know what I'm saying? Like,
or hot for a comedian in general.
Sure.
Like, you know, that's male or female.
It is for both, but I usually hear it about
because it's usually
broads.
a bit of a downgrade from regular hot. When you're like, they're hot for a comic. When you see the really hot people, you're like, they're not going to be around long.
But yeah, that's what I mean. So that's like, if you compared him to all the presidents, he is hot as fuck.
No. John F. Kennedy was hot.
He would still be up there as well.
Number 2, trailing by a lot. I'd like to see what the Electoral College has to say about that. See what the numbers are on that.
JFK was really handsome. I forgot about.
Yeah, so, but I just don't, like,
but still, man, like, some of them are so ugly, I think they would have canceled that out.
Yeah.
In the averages. I mean, a motherfucker had wooden teeth. Come on now.
Well, you know. It was different times, Carmen. It was different times. Not everybody's got porcelain veneers.
Well, here's the thing. Is we did see a lot of people act outside of like normalcy in this election, as far as like swing states swinging a little bit more so.
Yeah, and that's really because a lot of people have been ignored in what's now politically correct society. Like, a lot of people feel like they can't even have their voices heard, and he was speaking to that. That's really what's happened with the way things are. It's really made it so people can't express themselves at all anymore. I mean, like, in certain circles, certain areas, certain cities. I mean, like, I got a ton of shit, and so did all my other Trump-supporting friends here in L.A. And it's like, you're telling me that you as an American, because you're offended by something somebody said, and I'm not, that suddenly you're able to push me around and bully me and say whatever you want. We all have strong personalities, so we don't come off looking as bullied. That's the problem, is we don't victim out. But really, like, by rights, we could victim out. It really could be like, why do you get to tell me as an American? You're an American as well. But your opinion matters so much more than mine that you're able to call me a racist and any other name you want to call me just because of who I choose to support, just because of who I think is speaking to the things that I need spoken to. That's what bothered me about people in this situation. I lost respect for a lot of people. Because it was like, like, sometimes it was like me being my sense of humor.
Well, that's the reason why nobody's ever going to have their mind changed, because nobody actually has a conversation about anything on there. Like, it's people just immediately like attacking each other. And it's like, you want to change somebody's heart and mind? Don't call them a piece of shit.
But yeah, well, that's 100% true. And there were people that like really did impress me, like Maureen Conway. Moe, as we call her.
Mm-hmm.
Moe, really, because she was Bernie and then she switched to Hillary, and like she always stayed positive on my thread, but I also would stay positive on hers even if I didn't really agree with the thing. If she made a good joke, you know, like I would like it or comment or something. Like, you'll see me kind of on Facebook a lot doing that. Like, if people were paying attention to my, like, what I comment on people's stuff, like, there were plenty of things that I didn't necessarily agree with, but I thought were funny, and so I would like them, or I'd put "you're stupid," or I'd like, give some kind of encouragement.
Right.
That's why I lost respect for a lot of people, because I'm not that kind of person. I could see if you thought somebody was disrespecting you in some way, and so you went at them that way. But like, if that isn't my attitude with it, if I'm cool with like whatever choice you make, then I think you owe me that same respect just for me being that way with you. It's just, I don't think a lot of people got that about me during this whole situation. It's like, yeah, if I see you if I hug you every time I see you, and I'm happy to see you, and like, we smoke a cigarette or we chat and that kind of stuff, and then all of a sudden, just because I'm supporting Trump, you turn into a different person on me, even though I'm willing to be the same person, like, put all that shit aside. I know you in real life.
Oh, is that would people start treating you differently, like in person?
Oh, yeah. Some of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that happened for sure. There's plenty of people that privately told me they supported Trump, like.
Really?
Yeah, we had those conversations too. And I, I respect their not wanting to be, because I was catching a lot of shit. I really understood why people, and I feel that way with those friends now. I still respect them for it, and I wouldn't like out them, or you know what I mean, like if they want to completely stay away from that. It's our president now and whatever else, like I get that 100%. People are really like, stupid about this. Like the way that they have been acting has really been childish, and nobody says that from the other side.
Well, the whole thing has been really childish. This whole election has been really childish. It turned into a show. It turned into like tune in this week type of show.
Yeah, but everybody wanted to judge it when they were watching TV, but while they were doing it in their own private lives, for some reason they thought that was okay. Look at what an asshole he is. Now watch what an asshole I'll be online. Everybody was the Facebook equivalent of Donald Trump in different ways. You know how many white people I had tell me what was in my best interest, that I was voting against my own best interest and whatever. Who the fuck? How do you know anything about me?
Well, they're just saying that because you're
just because of my skin color?
Because you're Mexican.
Yeah, so I'm less American? Is that what you're telling me? Because that kind of what you're implying if we really want to get down to it. But nobody looks at that side of it, because they're talking sense into me. They're talking sense into a Trump supporter, so everybody's behind it. So it just got a little bit tiring sometimes with that. And so, yes, I am happy, and I will shove it in people's face, because I feel like I was telling all of you that this is what America was saying, and all of you were telling me that I was a dumb asshole and whatever else. So, sorry I picked the winning team. Hope you enjoy your pity party or whatever the fuck you're doing right now.
Well, now they're protesting. They're protesting in like a bunch of cities.
Enjoy it. Love it. He's our president. So have fun at your protest. If you want to continue to waste your time, throw good money after bad, as they say.
That was something that I thought was messed up is people, like, if people were threatening to leave the country because that kind of just means you don't really give a shit about the country.
Yeah, and because I felt like the whole world was like kind of against it. Like the truth is, and the other Trump supporters I talked to last night, they were like, we all three of us were just stunned. We were like, I can't believe this just happened. Like,
Yeah, it was.
We hoped it would happen. Like, me and my crew, we hoped it would happen, but we didn't think it would.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I already had my concession speech planned.
You already wrote.
Yeah, I was going to go on Facebook and be like, good luck, Hills. We'll figure it out. Because, I mean, that's one thing. I'm not planning on leaving my country. And I'm also not planning on turning into a fucking asshole. If Hillary Clinton had been our president, then that would just be what it has to be, and we have to figure out how to make things work. Because one way or another, I think we as people need to start getting together and using things like social media to really let them know what it is we really want and what's important to us.
Yeah.
Like, because me, even though I'm a Trump supporter and stuff like that, and people want to tell me about women's rights and all this shit, well, then let's look at it. And I'm not going to pretend I'm smart enough to know what we have to do to make this happen. But there's got to be some way or some loophole or something. Let's look at it and see what we can do so that we can make sure that we stay the same place we are right now with Roe versus Wade.
Yeah, I'm worried about that.
Yeah, well, that's why we should all be on that. That's why, really, if there's
But we shouldn't have to fight for it. It's already
Okay, Carmen, then let's not fight for it. You're right.
But what
It's
I'm
already a
saying is,
thing. Well, that's what I'm saying. Let's figure out what the steps would be to make it so it's just 100%. It's just, that's what it is. We're going to leave it alone now. Do we have to put it to a vote? Do we have to, like, in some way, like, what do we have to do with the Supreme Court? What do we have to do to make our voices heard? There's got to be some way. No, let's instead keep talking about catcalls. Let's keep going down that. Let's keep using our voice, our collective voices for that. Why don't we just let them know? Because I know that if you were to put it up for a vote, there would be some people that are very strongly pro-life, very strong pro-life people. I guarantee it. I know it.
yeah.
That's going to be a very small minority. Everybody else with any sense, it would be the Trump of, like, religion, where people would think, no. I mean, like, I'm sure a lot of people would get lied to. The polls would be terrible on it leading up.
Yeah.
But I know, like, I deal with a lot of people, and I don't know a lot of people at all that feel like abortion should be illegal. I mean, like, I know a few.
But that's not gonna go to a vote though. When you have like,
then you're right.
Then
There's no way to
there's
figure
like
it
a
out.
force.
Well, I just said I don't know how we would figure it out. Listen to what I said. I don't know how we would figure it out. There's smarter people that can do that. But how do we just start to make that where we're all saying that? Because obviously that's important. So instead we should just be scared. That's what gets on my nerves about people. That's why I don't fucking like people. That's why I don't talk to a lot of people about a lot of things. Because, like, in a lot of cases, people just don't, like, yeah, I get it. You're right. There is that roadblock in that it's not going to be up for a vote. So how do we either make it so it is or make it so our voices get heard? There's got to be some way that the American people can have some kind of say in this thing, and it wouldn't just get left up to the Supreme Court. That's what I would imagine. Is there no loophole?
well, we would have to elect somebody that agrees with that and pushes that for us, because we're not in the Senate. We're not meeting in the House of Representatives. Like, that's why we're supposed to elect somebody that does that. But, like,
well,
I mean,
we can also let
Republicans
people
have
know.
never been-
We can also let people know, since that vote has already been done.
Mhm.
You know, those people. So we can also just let people know that if they do that, they definitely will not get voted in again.
But then we would have to get it. It would be taken away for that time. No, if it gets passed.
I don't think it would get passed if people really knew we were serious. That's why I think the Bernie people should have continued to write in Bernie so that everybody could see exactly where we were on that. That way the Democrats could have seen this is exactly why we fucking lost. This is how popular he was.
Yeah.
And yeah, you would have had to fucking take the L for this one, but it definitely would have made an impression on everybody. Because Bernie was supposed to beat Trump. That's what a lot of people said or projected. That
Yeah.
could have been wrong. You know what I mean? Like, it could have turned out to be wrong. But what if it was right? What if everybody wrote in Bernie and that turned out to be right? No, there's too many assholes that are like, no, because that's like a vote for Trump. That's what you had to do as a Trump supporter. You just had to take a leap of faith, vote, even though you knew it wasn't going to happen, and then it turned out to happen. Trump supporters were smart enough to do that.
Did you do a little dance when you found out he won? Did you dance around?
I punched the ceiling of my car.
Did you really?
You know, like the yeah. I clapped. I was fucking happy. I was very happy. But like when I really kind of knew it, even though I didn't want to jinx it, you know, but it was getting pretty undeniable. I was at Redwood Bar and Grill, or I think it's Redwood Bar and Grill. But yeah, because I was doing a show there,
Mhm.
and everybody was bummed out. And it was kind of fun because I think everybody just knew that Hillary was going to be the president on your guys' side too.
Mhm.
And so they were really smug. And to watch them kind of get the wind taken out of their sails, it was kind of fun. But then
So brutal.
I realized my friends were bummed out, and then that kind of bummed me out a little bit for them. I was still happy for me. But like another thing that was insulting was people were like asking me if I was worried
Worried about what?
about him, like being president. And I was like, did you think I hadn't thought this through? Like if he had, like, yeah, I didn't think he could. I thought it was all stacked against him to a point where he just couldn't do it. But like, it's not like I didn't seriously want it or seriously think about anything. Like, you know, there's a lot of reasons that I like Donald Trump, you know, and it's not the fucking white trash reason some people think. Some people are like, some people are just impressed with him because he's a billionaire or whatever. No, he also talks about the vets, having to take care of our vets. And that's another case where I don't care who it is that brings that up. I just need it really brought up. And I know Bernie was talking about I keep saying Bernie, but Bernie was talking about the VA and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But like some people say he's the one that fucked that up. And I can honestly say I didn't really look too much into that. That's just what some people have said. But like as far as like if Trump is bringing it up, Hillary really isn't. Technically, she left some of our people in a very bad situation, and then people get mad at you talking about Benghazi. But it's like, well, somebody was that there's that connection, so I can't factor that in at all because it's there you go with Benghazi again, and it's like, so I'm just supposed to take that out because you don't consider that to be a thing, so I'm supposed to be all right with that. No, she kind of left our guys in a bad position, is what it looks like, and yeah, maybe that had to happen or something like that, but when people are expecting somebody to bail them out and they're just left and there is no plan like that, I think that's kind of shitty. So, you know, I always said that I was hoping it would be Bernie and Trump because I really thought Trump could take him. That's one thing. Like that, I did feel.
I think Bernie would have taken him
Well, you
down.
can feel how you want, but he couldn't even get past Hillary, so clearly he couldn't take anybody.
Well, he got scammed by the fucking DNC. You know that.
But he allowed a lot of that shit to happen. If he had been willing to fucking crack the system open, sort of like Trump did, Bernie could have been something, could have gone somewhere.
I think he was trying to do that.
No, he was trying to fucking play Mr. Nice Guy. That's why he was like, forget the emails. Yeah, this bitch is playing dirty with the DNC, but you want to say forget the emails. No, you need to exploit that, and if you really want to be president, I need to make you to make your way to being the fucking... so annoying. Like, you gotta be the fucking nominee. You gotta make your way to that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what I need you to fucking do if you're being serious about this.
But
So anything short of that, especially when it was partly in your control, because he could have gone after the fucking emails and been like, yeah, what is this about? And people agreed he was pretty clean. There was some college shit that I did read that, you know what I mean? But it was like kind of fantasy fiction type thing.
Yeah.
I didn't even consider that a thing. I was like, they mentioned it. I was like, yeah, I guess to some people this is going to look bad, but to me, just nerd shit. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Like,
for
just
sure.
like, what? The lady that wrote 50 Shades of Grey is fucking bad?
Yeah.
You know, like, it's whatever. I didn't consider that to be a thing. But, you know, so why didn't he just fucking pound her? See, I need somebody that's actually going to make some shit happen. You can't tell me somebody's fucking great when they can't even keep control of their own rally. And I know he was in a bad position with Black Lives Matter, but Obama could have been in a bad position that time that they started yelling at him about illegal immigration. But he did well with that. He handled that situation. See, that's one thing I respect about Obama. He was a good speaker, and he did, like, you know how to handle stuff like hecklers and that kind of...
Yeah.
You know, I respect him as far as that goes. I technically really did respect him until he was riding so hard for Hillary, because if you look at some of the footage of things that him and Michelle had said about Hillary back in their thing, which I know is politics, but still at the same time, there were certain things they were saying back then that were kind of what a person's about in their core. So the fact that you're endorsing that same person...
Well, who else were they going to endorse?
Well, they shouldn't have let her get that far because it looked like they knew for a long time that she was DNC. Like the way everything played out, are we? See, that's one of the things that's frustrating to me with people. It's like, with leaked emails and the way that things kind of went with the communication, if you just pay attention to that, you don't see how corrupt everything is and how.
I think this election really does show. It does show how corrupt everything is.
Yeah. And so it's kind of like made me lose respect for Obama in a way, because it's like, yeah, you know a lot of this dirty shit too. You have to. You're the president. You think they don't fill him in on some of these things? Like, it's just sort of like, oh, shit just happens. Oh, yeah, that is weird. That is weird how that happened. I'm the president, but I'm not going to ask any questions. It's just kind of weird. No. But then you're willing to go and say, this guy is terrible and she's good. How about their bullshit? You let them wrestle it out. I'm done being president, you guys.
He's still also the president of the United States.
I'm done being president. It's the end. I'm done. I'm going out with a bang. Peace, bitches. Here we go. Let them fucking have at it.
He's a good president. He's not going to do that.
A good president tells me what it is I need to know.
And he did.
No, he didn't.
We're on a need-to-know basis. I don't want to know all of that shit. I don't want to know what the fuck they got. They're running a country. I don't know anything about how to do that.
Oh, okay, you're right. Then they shouldn't be good people. You're right.
Well, there's a difference between being a good person and saying every single thing that you're doing to an entire country.
No, a lot of the shit that they're doing in emails is fucking bad. Like, did you not check out any of the emails?
I'm not talking about the emails.
But, like, I am specifically. See, everybody tries to turn it general all of a sudden and be like, it's about these bigger things. No, I'm saying, like, on this level. Mm-hmm. Like, that's... Like, if you know that a person isn't playing fair or being a good person, then why would you continue to encourage that people? Like, supposedly we're against bullying and stuff like that. But, like, when Hillary called Trump supporters deplorables, to me that was worse than what Trump said about Mexicans. And it wasn't even Mexicans. It was illegals coming here. You're talking about actual Americans, and you're saying we're a basket of deplorables? Like, that's, yeah, a good way to keep everybody from fucking bullying us. And then one of the guys from CNN just mentioned that the other day, like, if you're willing to push down a whole group of people to, like, spotlight another, that kind of thing. And I'll look at the exact quote and say it on another podcast, because I'm going to be on something tomorrow. I'm going to be on Unsafe Space for Toby Marciano.
Oh, cool.
And, but, like he said something to that effect, and it's like, oh yeah, sort of the same way, and he was talking about black people, but it was like sort of the same way that you guys were wanting to push down Trump supporters that had certain questions or had certain concerns as far as the country goes. But like, then it's okay for you to push us down because we're supposedly the dumb ones. Your opinion is 100% right. It's not biased at all. It's not at all because it just happens to be your group.
Well, that
it's
happens
right.
on both sides. Both sides. It's.
But he's the one calling it out as a problem.
Mm-hmm.
The man in the interview was the one calling it out as a problem. So it's like, so it wasn't a problem when it was. See, because I would say it's a problem on both sides too. But that's because I actually want to get shit done instead of just make sure that I continue to have a job starting shit between people on CNN.
You start shit between people without effort.
See, the best part about me is I never do start shit between people.
Maybe you should get a job at CNN.
Wait, the best part about me is I never do start shit between people. Technically, I make people get each other. That's why I'm willing to have not certain people not be on my Facebook. Like, if you're not productive, I don't care if you have a different opinion. Mm-hmm. But if your way of coming at it is not productive, then I don't want you on the thread anymore. Like, the people that just want to see things only their way, because I hear people out in their fucking bullshit arguments, and sometimes they do make some valid points in there, but just the base of it is what's off for me, because it is going too much on political correctness, and I like to go case by case on everything. Not because this was a black person and this was a white cop, then this one's automatically right, this one's automatically wrong. That's not the way I go at shit. You know, it's also not like, oh, this person said Mexican, and so now it's the bad thing. Or That's not what I'm doing. I listen to things and go case by case. Other people, like, I think those people are too stupid to make decisions for themselves. That's why they go along with just the political correctness thing, because they're not smart enough to pick up context.
Mm.
You know, so they go off of just the word. Oh, he said this word, so he must be a bad person. My best friend says the different variations of the word fag and some kind of cockboy shit. Like, there's all sorts of...
Cockboy?
Yeah, he calls me cockboy every once in a while. What's up, cockboy?
Man, that's a really funny term.
Yeah, he just says shit like that all the time that if you didn't know him could be, you know, seen as derogatory. But he's my best friend, and it's not at all insulting. It's just his stupid sense of humor, and it makes me laugh all the time. And, like, you know, so somebody would tell him that he's wrong for saying that stuff, and that could be hurtful to somebody. Hurtful to who? To me, because that's who he's talking to, and I'm not hurt. But political correctness says that he's just not supposed to say that.
Well, I thought it's if he says that to you and you're offended, that he shouldn't say that to you.
There are people that are not LGBT that will be offended for me.
But that's been the white lady game forever, though. I mean, think about anybody who's ever been offended at a comedy show. It's usually a white lady.
But it's spread to the white guys now. A lot of white guys are acting that way now. Well, in LA, I don't have to tell you, the hipsters and those kind of alt rooms, it's like, you're offended? Are you a lady in disguise, or what the fuck?
Oh no.
Skinny jeans chopping your balls off, or what's...
What?
Maybe giving it too much of a pinch, or I don't know. I don't know what's happening. But, yeah, the alt scene, there's a lot of guys that get offended, and they even consider themselves feminist. And if you say, you know, a joke that they don't like about women, then all of a sudden you're misogynistic. And it's like, you're a guy. What are you even talking about right now?
Is that why everybody? I hear people say allies all the time. They're always talking about being an ally.
Yeah, they're allies. Definitely an ally.
I don't think you can be an ally unless you acknowledge the fact that things are different for different people. Like, and I guess what I mean is in the sense of like feminism for white chicks and feminism for like women of color.
Yeah. And, you know, and in my opinion, really an ally's job...
If you can't, like, acknowledge that that's two different kinds and one is harder than the other, then it's like you're not really an ally because you don't even understand.
Yeah, well, in my opinion, an ally's job is just to, if you're really an ally, just have my back in whatever I say and shut the fuck up. You know, like, as far as, like, if you call yourself a gay ally, when it comes to gay... You don't get to tell me anything about gay. I'm living my experience the way I live it as a grown man that's been out for more years than I care to even fucking admit. I think I can use the terms I want to use at this point. I think I can decide if I'm offending myself or not.
But then it's like policing if other people can say it. So you can say it, but I couldn't say it.
See, but I'm of the thinking that you can say whatever you want. I don't care if you say the word fag anywhere. Or like, not even the word fag. I don't care. As long as you don't say it to me in a hateful context, we're good. It doesn't make me uncomfortable even a little bit. All of my straight friends will say, like, you know, it gets less and less because political correctness has just changed it. But all of my friends will, like, when we're all just being fun or whatever, they'll call another guy a fag or whatever. They're like, dude, you're fag. And they're not meaning it like that way.
No,
and
they just like in an emasculating way.
Yeah,
not
I don't even get slightly offended or uncomfortable or whatever. I, like, you know, a lot of times it is funny because they are being a fag or whatever, you know. So, like, you know, but I don't think, like, I think anybody can say anything. The only thing I really caution people about is the N-word.
What do you mean? How is that different?
Well, because it's got a different history. You know, I think it,
Plus, it's not.
I mean, I've said it before, like, you know, I'm not going to lie about that. I know a lot of people act like they never have. I grew up in a different time. I've said it. I've said it fun. I've said it hateful. I've said it different ways. I've said it.
Did you ever like? I always noticed there's like not euphemisms. What's like the term of another, like calling another group of people, and didn't find out it was racist until like later on.
Slurs or no,
Yeah.
would it be a slur or an epithet?
Something like that.
There's a lot.
Like my I didn't know my grandmother used to say the word moulignon, which means eggplant in Italian, and she would call this black dude a moulignon, and I didn't know. I thought that was like a nickname because it was like I was like, you know, a little kid, and then I found out because I didn't know what the word meant either at the time, but then I found out later on like what it meant. So I've just been saying that word. I've just been like saying a racial slur.
How old were you when you figured it out?
I think I was like a teenager.
Yeah, but you know, that's another.
I mean, I obviously I wasn't saying it all the time. Like it wasn't like, you know, I wasn't like it wasn't on my voicemail or anything like that. But it was just like I didn't have the I was just dumb, you know, or ignorant. I was ignorant in that I didn't know what the fuck I was saying, but I was just saying it.
Yeah, well,
Did you ever have a thing like that?
Well, like in Spanish, it's just negro, or like if it's a small black kid, then it's negrito. Like you would hear that a lot of times when I was younger.
Is that a racial slur?
No, but like you know, but it's also like I know some black people when they first heard it, like because it sounds similar, they thought like it was something
it just means
negative.
black.
Yeah,
Negro, yeah.
yeah, but like you know, but you have negros or people you call negro that aren't black. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just dark skinned brown, like
Mhm.
Mexican or Guatemalan or you know like that kind of stuff. So there's even that. Like that's why people.
Dominicans.
That's why people get on my nerves when they like try to really like act like Mexicans when they try to act overly politically correct, or Latinos in general that try to act overly politically correct. It's like, yeah, I guess if you want to adopt that, that's cool, but don't start acting like we all grew up that way, because like as Latinos, we don't have a lot of.
There's not only that, but I feel like so many people don't know very much about Hispanics and in general, that they don't even realize like how much racism within Hispanics there is.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's not even like, you know, racism is just the way that people talk. Like even when it comes to like things that are outside of race, like a lot of times people are called gordo or gorda, and like, you know, like that's not at all considered like, you know, even though like calling somebody, you know, fat girl or fat guy in English, a lot of people would be offended, you know, if they were like, "What's up, fat guy?"
Yeah.
But like, you know, that's the way it is.
Well, it would be like calling somebody
Chapel.
big Tom. It's the equivalent of like calling somebody Big Tom.
Chapel is short.
Because like when you oye gordo, it's like it's not meant to be offensive.
But it's still calling someone fat.
Right, but you know, there's like little Mike and he's a huge dude, or Big Mike. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but it's still calling someone fat.
well, it's
like,
the same thing in English. But that's what I'm saying. But it's supposed to be in an endearing way.
I don't know that I'm with you on that.
You think somebody calling somebody Big Mike is to offend them?
No, but like a lot of times Big Mike is a tall guy, or like, yeah, they'll be fat, but like, you know, just a big guy. Like, you know, it's like you usually don't call people fat. Like, you know, that's what I'm saying is like the difference is in Latinos, with a lot of Latinos, there is no political correctness like that. Like sometimes people are called like Chapo, or, you know, like, which is shorty, and like you don't hear a lot of like people call each other like with white people or like American, the way that things work right now in this country, a lot of times that would be considered body shaming or not being polite, where like with Latinos that's not really ever been a thing.
Why do you think that is?
Because nobody would listen to you if you did try to make it a thing. But now people are starting to. Like, I had some friends put some dumb shit, you know, like they're hoity-toity kind of thinking, but they were Mexicans, and I was like, don't try it, Beaners. I know too much about this game.
But still, though, it's like, it's still kind of like shitty that they just think all of us are the same.
Well, that's for another show.
So it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I wish we could talk about it, but we're at 59 minutes and 57 seconds. Okay. And I usually don't like to go over an hour. Carmen, thank you for coming. Good talking to you. Where can people find you?
On the internet.
Okay, find Carmen Morales on the internet. Just Google that like that, and it'll come up.
But not the first one, because that's a novela actress. So you'd have to put in Carmen Morales comedian.
Carmen Morales comedian. Search it in Google. Carmen Morales comedian.
Or just go to CarmenMorales.com.
Get your pen ready.
It might be easy.
Get your pen ready. Carmen Morales.
Well, I'm glad weed got legalized. So you can celebrate and I can be stoned enough to not be so sad.
Well, we're not even getting stoned until...
We're not. No, we're not.
I mean,
not
like,
until it gets legal. Not like...
Or that wasn't what I was going to say. What was I going to say? Damn it. Of course we're stoned. Like, well, I don't know why. I meant we're not even going to get cards because it's...
Yeah, there's no reason to. It's going to be legal.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Everybody, you can find me on americasfavoritefag.com. You guys I didn't mention that I was on Fusion. We'll talk about that taping next time I do it.
Roast of America.
Roast of America on the Fusion Network. This is Ty Rivera.
Unbothered.
Unbothered.